Welcome to the Leighton Inclusion Interview Show, where we talk about the difference between kindness and cruelty with an emphasis on kindness. And today we're talking about the power of listening, wanting, and giving back. And this is the first interview I'll be doing with Lisa Wright at Reify Communications. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Anne?
I'm functional. I'm getting work done and taking it easy. And I have to explain that it's not a coincidence that I connected with you. Lisa understands her service in marketing and she does it with love, which I admire. But we have a history that goes back to around the 1990s, and I didn't necessarily know Lisa the way I know people nowadays, or the way I know Lisa nowadays, or close to it. Lisa, I used to work at Hit Parader magazine, and I got a letter in the mail, and I get letters from them. I used to get letters almost every day from different folks that read the magazine, and one of the letters, some of the letters that I've gotten through the years there when I worked there were from folks that were writers, and Lisa was a writer, and he wanted to.
Aspiring, because I was a child.
Okay, but you wrote
Yes,
the letter, and I'm
yes.
wagering that you had probably written some pretend articles and things like that.
That's a good way of putting it. Yes, yes. I
Okay,
kind of
so
still feel like I'm doing that sometimes.
right. Yeah, yeah. So you were a writer then, and since you've written like crazy as through the years, so it's your calling. But you wanted to write for the magazine, and I will be full disclosure. I used to write back to a number of writers that would send pitches to the magazine. I just believe that there have been times through the years before I start working at Hit Parader that some editors never wrote me back and some editors did. And I think the ones that did, it felt good. And
hmm
it's also with radio because there were short times where I wanted to work in radio, and DJs like Mark McEwen and Harris Allen at NEWFM would take my phone calls and tell me to hang in there, and it helped, I
hmm
think.
It does. And I didn't even realize I have it, but just so that everybody sees, this is it that I found this. It's from 1990, which is a very, very long time ago. But I was looking for something in my closet and I found this. I could just tell it was something important because I could tell the folder was old and there was one piece of paper. So I thought it was, some kind of birth certificate or something. It
Right.
just from my patterns, I knew it was something important. I opened it up and I was like, oh my God, the reject my first rejection letter. Because I was trying to, get something on Cheap Trick because I was a huge Cheap Trick fan and I didn't think they were getting enough press at the time. It was hard to compete with, what else was going on in the industry. But anyway, so I knew I was going to be rejected, but I had to represent my buddies. But anyway, so when I found it about, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, I thought, let's see if this letter meant so much to me as a kid. Let's see what she's doing. And then I found you online and reached out. And yet again, you wrote back to me 35 years later. And I just think that's as you're discussing kindness and listening and all that, I think this type of interaction is part of what that's all about is just reaching out to people. I think as writers, we tend to initiate communication, be curious, want to connect with people, and I think that's one of the best parts of being a writer. Um, and in today's divisive times, I think it's more important that everybody should be curious about each other and even the impersonal nature of life right now with the digital communications and things and people not getting responses back because there's this glut of stuff to do like we're talking
Yeah.
about and it's like it's too much and to make that personal connection, you and I have made this personal connection twice in our life and otherwise we would just pass by each other. And
Right, right. And we probably now, if I were walking through your state and in your neighborhood without knowing it, or if you were walking in my neighborhood here in the Bronx, and if we saw each other, we would know probably, wait, are you Lisa? Wait, are
oh
you Ed?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we probably would. And then we'd probably go out for to Frida's and have some food. I was talking with Lisa earlier before we started the interview that one of my clients kept calling me and emailing me, and I finally went out to do my laundry and run errands, and I ducked into Frida's, and sure enough, I saw another email from her. So I wrote back and said, "Hi, I'm having lunch right now at Frida's." And I took photos of the restaurant and sent it to her. And I did it without guilt because a lot of times clients kind of expect their consultants or publicists to always be on the case.
Mm,
And I'm learning that no, I'm not always going to be on the case. There have been times where I just worked too hard and
mhm,
there was no there was no give back or no understanding that hey, I have a few other clients or
mhm.
I'm s- chilling at this wonderful restaurant with this great art, you know.
I was just listening to an interview with Tom York earlier today, and he was talking about how rest is so important in like your daily life and also for the creative process and for like you have to digest the stuff that you're doing. And
Right.
I think it's very true because I tend to just keep going and it just kind of, I don't know, it's you just tightly wound all the time. And you have to look at art at Frida's and eat good food is important.
Yeah, totally, totally. And I agree with you. And by the way, rest is also good. I love to sleep. So
Hmm.
uh, th- there's a balance. Now you're in marketing, which is something where you're creating designs and you're getting them out to the world. Am I right about what that
Yeah,
is?
I mean, I work with a team, so I kind of just now that I started my own business, I mostly just manage the work, or provide creative direction where I can. But yeah, I mean, we do websites, we do, branding and brand identity and copywriting, obviously, we do that as well. But it's really just the whole gamut of whatever digital and print needs that any company would have at this point.
Do you kind of become something like an actor where you take on the heart of the product and figure out how to give it its audience? Is that what it would be
Yeah,
like?
yeah. I mean, it, it depends on the project, but because I have a creative background, as opposed to somebody who maybe was just more had an accounts background or project management, but there's always this, even with just interactions with people, but certainly in this business, it's trying to understand. I always talk about I'm just incredibly sensitive, which is a difficult way to live because you're always being bombarded with energy and information. But so when I'm working with clients, I use that sensitivity to kind of listen to them because there's what the business goals are, what the business wants to accomplish. They want to sell more of this, they want to get more of this or whatever. So you're listening to that, but that's a lot of data and stuff. There's no heart in it. So how do you put heart in that? Because people buy things based on emotion. They don't buy it
Right.
because it's useful or a good price, or maybe they buy it because it's a good price, but they buy it because I feel good because I'm saving money, or I
Mhm.
feel like I can get this for my kids if I don't spend that money. So it's all emotion based. So that's where we have to come in and understand that. But there's also the client themselves as the individual, which I tend to use that as my portal into the business because they know the business better than I do, and they have to get their own personal goals accomplished. So yes, it
Sure.
is, to me it's all about understanding that core desire of the business, the individual who's coming to me for help, and then also the end user who is going to be making that purchase. So
The audience.
yeah.
Yeah. Are there certain types of businesses you work with, or is it universal?
It's, I mean, it's universal, but I personally have a lot of experience with financial clients, which most people dread. They think it's boring. I don't think it's boring. Again, as a writer, everything is interesting, right? It's
Yeah.
like learning is fun. But we've worked in education. We've had all types of different clients that we've worked for. So, and I'm probably forgetting major ones because I blank out when people ask me questions. It's always fun. Yeah, no, there's nothing specific.
Right. And you're good at listening to the requests. I read an article about your company in Medium,
Hmm.
and it was leading with the heart, but part of the heart is getting to understand the clients. And you wrote something that took me a while to learn. I tend to believe the client is always right, only because it's their bottom line at stake, not ours. And there have been times where you've explained the situation, but they would say back to you, "Hey, it's this." And you go, "Yeah, you're right, because this is digital media. It's not the Louvre,
Yeah.
the museum in in France."
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a pleaser, but this is always a hot topic in marketing where it's like, do you serve what's the best standard practice of how to design or how to, create a campaign or any of these things? And I I tend to veer more towards what the client wants. Um, Still present them what we feel is the best solution, but um, I tend to be more client, but give them as much information as they can, as they need to make a good decision. But really, ultimately, you want to deliver on what they've asked for. So,
Hmm.
but some creatives are it's like this is the right way to do it, and it's. I'm sure when you've interviewed people in the music industry, there's like this we want to um, be true to our art, and
Right. Yeah,
I totally agree with that. But they're not. They're working for a record company, and I'm sure there's conflict there.
there
I'm
is.
that it's a different. It's like we're in market. If you wanted to be that true to your art, you should have been an artist, not working in marketing. You know what I mean? There is that kind of slave to the industry or whatever that we kind of have to make concessions. So
Gotcha. Your company is called Reify Creative.
yes.
And reify, I don't know what that word means. Tell me.
I didn't know until a couple of years ago, but reify basically means to take an abstract concept and turn it into something real. And to me, that goes beyond marketing. To me, that's what I feel my whole life has been about, is creating stuff from an idea. I love ideas. Even if I don't agree with them, I still love new ideas. And I feel like each of us every day we're creating a new reality. And I think a lot of people play it safe, and which is totally fine, but I don't want to do that. So um, my favorite thing in the world is to like have that little teeny idea and then it starts actually taking physical form. I think that's
Mhm.
just such a beautiful thing.
It's like I can see the potential. You can see the potential in your
Hmm.
client.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and it's like every time I see something I've written, either in digital media or in print, or I see us stand up a website, or I see like a concept that we had and then it turns into, it never gets old to me. It's
Wait,
just,
no.
it's, we're very, we always joke with each other, like we're not curing cancer and what we're doing doesn't really matter. But to me, I find it thrilling. Like it's, I think we are blessed to be able to do this type of work, even if it's not consequential. I feel like the process and the bonds that you have with the people that you work with or work for, that's meaningful to me. And
Yeah.
so even if uh, we've done work where you do work and then say the company gets bought and they put up a different website and then all this work that you did, either they don't use it or it's in vain. Yeah, it's frustrating, but that's life is impermanent. Like I think the fact that we don't have to take it that seriously is a
Right.
who wants to be a surgeon, where if you mess up, somebody dies. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a hard job.
Yeah.
And it's also like potential. I don't know what's going to happen with the novel or novels that you've
Hmm.
written or the plays that I've written that still haven't been produced or
Hmm.
may have only been read by a few.
Hmm.
We don't know what the future will bring, but we've got our 10,000 hours of
Hmm.
writing and rewriting and marketing our stuff as well as other people. So
Hmm.
we get better as we go along, and
Hmm.
other people do end up sharing it. I don't know how. I mean, I work with the Poe Cottage, Edgar Allan Poe Cottage, and a lot of his writing was not published until after he
Oh, really?
died. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Some of it was published while he was alive, but
Hmm.
it and he had assignments to do, but
Hmm.
he did not have an easy life as
Mm.
far as getting his writing heard, or his wife died and he mourned her
Hmm.
a lot. But he saved it. He found ways that it could get out there.
Hmm.
And now
Yeah.
we've got the digital media, so there's potential there. It may not be through the greatest publisher.
Hmm.
Uh,
But I guess that's in how do you define success?
right. Uh, What you can control or what others say.
Hmm.
Or is it a combination? Or is it, hey, I'm doing it's the runner there. Jim Ryan, he was a runner
Hmm.
in the Olympics, and when he was in the Olympics and competing, the press would say all these horrible, oh, he's not good enough, or what happened to him if he ran over 4 minutes or over 3 minutes or
Hmm.
whatever the mile was then. But when he went back to his community, they loved him. They knew him. They
Mm.
saw him as a great guy.
I I've been reading this book called The Map of Consciousness Explained. It's really interesting. And there's this line in it that I'm obsessing about. Let me find it. Okay. Fear of failure is diminished by realizing that you are responsible for the intention and effort, but not the result, which is dependent on many other conditions and factors that are non-personal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I feel like the way to I don't want to say achieve because again that's goal oriented, but it to move towards the self that you want to be or to move in the right direction or the most preferred direction is to focus on that intent and effort and not give a shit about what what it turns into. That's when I
Right.
find I'm the most successful.
Yeah, you're pleasing yourself.
Yes, but I think it's more aligning with your highest self, like being your truest,
Yeah.
yeah, aligning with your truth or the truth, like whatever is, the not people pleasing, like just
Yeah.
doing achieving your highest purpose, I guess, is focusing on the
Yeah,
intent and
which
effort.
is When we were writing back and forth about this interview,
Hmm.
I pulled out some of your thoughts, and one was, I actually find being kind, compassionate to be exhausting. So, and
Right,
you
that
wrote
just makes me sound like such an asshole.
you wrote a few theories about that, but would that be people pleasing or would that be
No, it's
self
caring.
kindness?
It's I care so freaking much about people, and if I know, if I, I don't know. I feel like everybody's got these layers. So it's like you meet somebody and you either like them or you don't like them. Like that's a 50-50.
Right,
Then
right,
you start digging in, you're like, kind of like this person. Then you dig in more and you're like, oh God, oh, we went in too deep. But if you keep pushing, then you're like, holy shit, I understand everything now. Like I feel like there's that journey with people when you get to know them. And
sure.
when I start to really care about people, which is like very fast, I feel like I know what they need. I know
Mhm.
what they should do, and I need to tell them and I need to help them do it. And it's just this, it's the fixer nonsense. And I've gotten a
Ah,
lot better of kind of not doing that because people actually usually hate it. Um, but I just feel like I want to be of service to others. And I get stuck in this how can I help thing.
right,
And when I could be so much more of service if I focus more on myself, because
right, right.
the more you're in a good place, the more you can do kind of be the change as opposed to, try to inflict change on others.
Right, right, right. And but you're looking, but it's also deciding, it's also kind of, I think I've, with the therapy that I've been through, I think I've also gotten better
Mm-hmm.
at determining who's really doing something for themselves or who's doing their homework. And
Mm,
I mean, the client that called me at all hours today, and to be fair to the project, we're getting the announcement out starting tomorrow to one group of people for this project, and then through the week we'll be getting the announcement out to tons of other folks.
mm-hmm.
And it is a project that people are gonna respond to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think, to be fair, we've she and I have also compared notes about different folks through the years because we run in the same circles. We've worked with some of the same people from
Mm-hmm.
different ends. I've worked as in uh, the administrative capacity. She's worked in collaborative capacity with people because
Mm-hmm.
she's an artist, a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So when you both are saying, wow, we've done a lot for some of these people. Did they deserve it? Did they do their homework? Did they work hard? What's going on? That type
Mm-hmm.
of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's kind of, sometimes you use the word fixer,
Mm-hmm.
and with some of the artists that I have had potential that I knew could do it, I also tried to be their fixer.
Mm-hmm.
And they were exhausting. They took a lot
Mm-hmm.
because they were also entitled. There's like this pattern of behavior with people that you're trying to fix, that I've been trying to fix.
Mm. Well,
Is-
musicians are a special breed of
some,
challenging, yeah.
yeah, yeah. There
Mm.
are a lot of musicians but I've met some pretty resourceful ones that,
Mm.
and I've also met a few that are a little too resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll sleep in their car even though someone's willing to put them up
Mm. Mm.
for a gig.
Mm. Yeah. Um, yeah, I just the other thing is there's an inherent judgment to fixing that I don't like, like if I look at somebody and I go, "Oh my God, I could help you, I could help you, I could help you." It's saying there's something wrong with them, and that's not kind.
Ooh.
So, and by particularly with men in my life, I've tried to, like save them and all this nonsense. If people save themselves, then that's a lot. Like I've saved myself. If nobody could come in and, fix things they could help, but
Right.
not fix. Nobody can fix this. But yeah, I think it's better
Yeah.
to accept people for who they are and just, you know, be hold space for people. I think
Yeah.
that phrase is kind of weird, but it makes
No,
sense.
it's it, I mean, that makes the most sense. It's like I had a person that I love dearly, and it's like I gotta hold space because he hates me.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, or hates me. Yeah, that may be an appropriate word. Certainly does not want to deal with me.
Hmm.
And much as I'd love to deal with him,
This is romantically or
no,
okay.
it was a client that had the potential,
Um,
but didn't didn't do the work. And so or lied about his work, I should
mm,
say, and lied about a lot of things. And it's like, oh man, dude, man, you just messed up your career with all these things. But it's like I hold space and hope someday. But
mm,
meanwhile, there's so much to deal with.
mm,
I can't make excuses. I can't do anything like that. I just have to give it to the universe and love the one I'm with or the people that are not that are being nice. And I end up developing valuable friendships that way as
mm.
opposed to or valuable relations,
What do you
not always
think? What do
friendships.
you think if this person came back and said what you wanted them to say? What would it do for you?
Um if he meant it, but
Mm-hmm.
and how would I know if he meant it? I mean, it would
Mm-hmm.
have to be slow but sure to mend the fences, and I'd be have to be allowed to say certain things and hear what he has to say back. I I think what happened in that particular relationship was I lacked diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I just started getting fed up enough that
Mm,
the diplomacy was thrown out the window.
mm-hmm.
And so,
But I've been thinking about diplomacy. Oh, not to interrupt you, but
no, no, go.
um, I tend to not be diplomatic.
Cheers.
And I feel guilty about it because I feel like it's judged, like, oh, Lisa's got a big mouth or Lisa says whatever she thinks. But then some people they say I like that I know where I stand. I'm not like a nasty person.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just direct because I don't have the energy to, and I feel like I'm being more honest if I say things plainly. And there's absolutely no malice involved. It's just like, this is me expressing myself. But so anyway, I think that there's so much societally where it's like, this is a virtue and this is what's the opposite of virtue? A
Um,
flaw, a sin, like,
a blah. Yeah.
so to
A
not,
fault.
yeah. So if you weren't diplomatic, does that make you a bad person?
I think it just makes my behavior not so good. I think
Well,
being
according to
honest,
who?
I would well, I have to listen to what my morals or my
Mm-hmm.
thing or what did I do wrong in the relationship?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do that I could have done better? How could I have been less of a brat and more of a diplomat? But then
Mm-hmm.
again, I would say early on I probably was diplomatic because
Mm-hmm.
you tend not to show that side to
Mm-hmm.
people until
Mm-hmm.
like a guy was begging for quarters at the laundromat. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want to give you any quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And he begged again. I said, please, I don't want to give you quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So that was diplomatic.
Mm-hmm.
Had he have continued, I would have said,
Mm-hmm.
shut up, get out of my face. F you,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing. So I think sometimes after a certain point of dealing with somebody not being 100% honest, somebody that seems to be using you, seems to be changing the story of what really happened, at a certain point, I would probably lose my temper.
Mm-hmm.
And
But that's
the other,
universal. That's not you. That's everybody.
yeah,
Everybody gets fed up and then they stop being nice.
yeah. And I think the other part is where a lot of people will say, "Oh, you should not make waves when I see something wrong." I
Mm.
think I I think I've got what they call Aries rising in me,
Mm-hmm.
where I could be I'm a Libra, I'm the most peaceful
Oh, I'm a
sign.
Libra too.
Oh, when?
When's your birthday? Uh,
October 15th.
oh, third.
Okay. Oh, happy upcoming birthday.
Thank you.
This
Same.
interview will probably be going out before your birthday. So
Okay.
it'll be going out when Libra starts. Oh,
I
happy
expect
birthday.
everybody to watch this to send me birthday
Yeah.
wishes.
Well, maybe you have Aries rising too and don't
I have
know.
Scorpio rising.
Oh, okay. What is that? Do you are you like the peace lover, but you start
No.
fighting for the little
Oh.
guy?
That is true, but I think Scorpio rising is just resting bitch face, pretty much, I think.
What is it?
Resting bitch face?
Resting bitch
Have
face.
you ever heard that phrase?
No, but I like it.
Oh, it means like if you're just kind of sitting there, some people's faces they just look like a bitch. So people think you're a bitch because that's what your face looks like. But it's just so they call it resting bitch face. It's just like if I'm not talking or engaged in something in the natural resting state, you look like a bitch.
I don't see a bitch face. So
Oh, I do
good
have
for you.
that.
Resting bitch face. I like that. Oh, but it's also yeah, but and it's also learning I think another part of that relationship was accepting the fact that I am good enough and
Hmm.
realizing that person looked down on me and that person looks down on everybody. Like
Mm.
nobody is just because my flaws
Hmm.
are different from your flaws, you can look down on me because you got it together in this aspect of your life and that aspect
Mm.
of your life, but I'm kicking butt here.
Yeah.
So what do you do?
So my father was a pretty unpleasant person. And
Uh-huh.
um I remember one time my grandmother was in the hospital. And I had a small family, so my small little family was sitting there and she needed something. I don't know what. This is a long time ago. And none of us were really the type to go up to the nurse's desk and say, "Hey, you know, my grandma needs something." So we all kind of like sat there. And I was really young at the time and I was thinking like this is ridiculous. Like no one is speaking up for this woman. Everybody's like thinks somebody else will do it. And then my father realized that she needed something and he was very aggressive at times, usually assertive, but he was a like um just did whatever the hell he wanted kind of guy.
Huh.
Anyway, he went up and got my grandmother help. And I thought, we all look at my father as if he's not a very nice person, like all this, like, ugh, he does this, he's self-centered, he just says things, and whatever. But I realized that he was the only person helping my grandmother. And his
Good.
type was exactly what she needed. So even though he was very like he was unembarrassable, he would ask anyone anything, and a lot of these um, characteristics that people might look at as, ugh, this guy's too much, came in handy. So even though we have these perceived flaws, in the right um, environment, they're great attributes to have. So,
Yeah. Yeah, they will do something or they'll say, I might look down on you for being a slob or a mess, but I don't want you to be this way. I'll lift you up. I'll
yeah,
I'll help you clean up or something like that
right.
in the right situation. Like, Yeah, you're going to dress up right for my gig or something like that. We
We all
have,
need a kick in the butt
yeah, we
sometimes.
do. We do, and we do need to lift each other up.
Hmm.
I've dealt with we both you and I have both dealt with agoraphobia
Hmm.
through the years. I got to bring the A word up.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I feel like I'm dealing with it alone, but there are times where I'll go out and there's certain streets in my neighborhood that I need help crossing. So
Hmm.
I wait for someone and I ask for help to
Hmm.
cross it. And when I look at how far I've traveled
Hmm.
on my own from when I had my first agoraphobic attack to now,
Hmm.
I see progress. I still see confusion. Sometimes if I'm walking, some once in a while, I might walk from my doorway outside to
Hmm.
the street curb to get into a cab, let's say,
Hmm.
and I might feel awkward. But when I get out of the cab, I'm less awkward.
Hmm.
Uh, so it still comes back periodically. You
Hmm.
fought it, you've been able to travel all over the world, right?
Hmm. Well, I mean, I'm not a huge traveler, but I'm capable of it. Yes.
Wow, how did you do that?
It was exposure therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Just due to work, it got to the point where I said, I can't progress in my career if I can't travel. So I was like, and again, it was a motivation. Like I would never have done it just for myself to improve my quality of life because
Right.
I'm not good with doing things just because they're good for me. Um, but yeah, it was exposure. I can't remember if I mentioned this to you before, but the first, so heights were the biggest issue for
Mm,
me. It was all kind of like heights, big spaces. They're kind of, it's the same feeling. It's either there's too much this way or there's too much this way. So anyway, so the first thing I actually did was I used a VR, like I had like Google cardboard. So it's like $15 or whatever, and you put your phone in this $15 thing, so it's not like $100 thing. And I watched a VR video of being on the top of the Empire State Building,
oh, whoa.
and I was terrified because you can like look over and stuff. So that was how I started. And I would say that itself was one of the biggest jumps for me in being able to do it because I knew I was safe physically. I didn't, because when I would be in a high place and I would go to look, my brain would say, "You're not safe. You're not safe. You can fall off this building." And I
Yeah,
couldn't turn that off. But if I'm in my living room, like I can't be like, "You're not," it's like I know I'm safe. So I was able for the first time in my life look over and I'm like, I'm safe. Like
right,
I'm doing this and I'm safe. And I can't do heights or anything. Like there's a fire tower in town. I can only make it up a little bit. So I can
right.
I'm not like gonna go to the top of the Empire State Building. But yeah, that was great. And you just go little by little and you allow the feeling of terror to inhabit your body and then it dissipates. And you start to realize that that feeling is not reality. It's
Mm-hmm.
just hormones and chemicals and stuff and it's not a real thing. So the more you can retrain your amygdala that you're just
Uh,
freaking out. What you're feeling, there's no threat. There's no threat. There's no threat. When you
right.
when you allow it to come to a climax, basically, and watch it recede, it no longer holds as much power over you because you realize it's just like with people where they can make you feel a certain way. Once you realize, oh my God, doesn't what you're doing doesn't matter, then there's no threat. Like, and I think that's a lot with life in general is feeling like everything is a threat. Um,
Yeah, and most things aren't. They're very
hmm.
few. I
Hmm.
think a threat would just come in, surprise, and go out,
Hmm.
like death, or something
Yeah, and
like
that's the thing.
that.
Like I always think about, I'm like, we're all gonna die. Like we're all holding on to our stuff and our money and our our image and all this. It's like we're all gonna die. Like
Right, right.
at some point you're gonna lose hold. So like what are we really holding on to here?
Yeah, well, to a certain degree, it's fair, and it could be chemicals, as you said, hormone chemicals. It could be hormone related,
Yeah.
and it's just trying to practice. And
Mm,
that, I mean, that's kind of what I did daily is just going out.
mm-hmm.
And I would always hope to find someone to walk with. That never happened. So, oh well,
I
here
wish
we
I was
are.
closer to you. I would help you.
I know, I know, I know. And I would go for walks with you too. But I mean,
And
once
it
in a
would be
while,
great with me because I would know exactly what you're feeling and not,
yeah.
'cause I'm sure you've had people say stupid shit and not understand. And it's like, I'm not scared because it's fun. Like, what do you want me to do? You know?
I've also had people, guys and women, come up and say, look, the way people drive nowadays, I
Mm-hmm.
understand,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know. And
Yep.
it's true. I mean, the Bronx is like Italy. People are just not, or Montreal, people can drive out of nowhere and
Mm.
surprise. So it's I've wanted to cross the street on one-way streets and cars going backwards. So
Would
I
you
get
ever
it.
want to live in the country or would you
I
never
love
leave the
going,
city?
yeah, I like going to the country, but I really love the conveniences in my
Mm.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, and I grew up in the country. I mean, at one point I lived in Fishkill.
Mm-hmm.
We were, which is upstate in country,
Mm-hmm.
uh, New York, and it was pretty although they've built up the area. It used to be a lot of cornfields, and now I think it's all houses
Mm.
and maybe some forests.
Mm.
Don't know. What kind of conventions did you go to overseas? What are
Oh,
your conventions for the marketing people?
I actually, due to the anxiety, usually try to avoid them because I still have that like,
Hmm.
ugh, like too many people. Like I still avoid. I'm fine. I don't get panicky, but it's not my favorite. I mean, I even like everybody makes fun of me, but even like events where there's like 50, there's like different. I feel like if there's a group of 20, that's like the worst size for anxiety. And then 50 you can disappear and then it gets too big and then it's like okay now I'm just overwhelmed. But yeah, no,
Sure.
I've just gone to a couple. It's not really interesting. I like, I'm kind of a nerd and I like panel discussions and things where they talk about um what's going on and I like to I like to see how events are run. Like I'm fascinated by all the weird inner workings or how people answer questions. So that's one of my flaws is that I tend to not be focused on the content of things and I'm just so interested in human behavior that I tend to just kind of watch what people are doing. So that's probably what I like the best about those type of things is just people watching, which is so terrible.
Strength. That's your strength. You like to connect with people, you
Yeah,
know,
which
and
is weird because I'm totally introverted. So I it's confusing to me. But
well, I mean, I'm both introverted and extroverted. It depends on
mm,
what I have to do
hmm
at the moment. And yeah, I can work the room, I can give a speech, I can do this, that, and the other thing. But I'm more interested in what you have to say, which is your skill. You're about listening to people. You're about, hey, what does this underdog have to say?
mm.
And
I think
how can I bring them up?
what I was thinking about in terms of inclusion, which is obviously a big topic for you, and I think that and maybe I already said this or maybe I said it in my head, but I think inclusion listening is listening to everyone, whether you like them or not, to me is true inclusion. Because I
Right.
there is like right now there's, you know, all kinds of shit going on. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and even like I was thinking about this too, like there's something weird going on with men lately. Like men are some I so men obviously have been in power forever.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're losing power and they're having like an identity crisis of what is masculinity now. And I think it's fascinating. But whenever I talk about it with my female friends, they're basically like, I don't want to listen. I don't give a shit what men want. They've been in power forever, you know, enough. We don't want to, like, who cares if they're lonely? Who cares if
Yeah.
they're misunderstood? But I'm
Okay.
like, wait a second. If men are actually transforming or self-reflecting, why would we not encourage that?
Mean, sure. I mean, it's so easy for me to say, well, everybody has to work that much harder to get attention,
Mm,
and there is that competition. But I guess because the men, guys, and the term, and I've listened to a few podcasts
mm-hmm,
from Scott Galloway and Anthony Scaramucci, where they
mm-hmm.
talk about the Lost Boys.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm a big podcast I listen to these talk shows online
Mm-hmm,
and I watch them especially on YouTube. So I it is a need. It is a need because some of the lost boys, if you will,
mm-hmm,
are the ones that are always online and they're babysitters, if you will, are folks that are trying to teach them to make women subservient, that if they can't get a beautiful woman, they need to beat up some of the people
mm,
or they just need to make them feel down. So I think some of them are being taught wrongly.
mm.
Um
I'm
eh,
talking more about the average compassionate male, I feel like is
okay.
not the not the incels and the whatever's happening in that. I mean like the average male, I feel like they're having a weird,
Identity.
yeah, because I personally think that society might also just be raising men to ignore their emotion, at least in this country, you know.
Oh yeah, they shouldn't. They should be. I mean, yeah, I mean, boys don't cry. You're right. There's been a lot of that. Oh, I saw a guy cry.
Yeah.
Wow.
It
Gee.
yeah, I don't and I think that men do feel that they have to be with an attractive the level of attractiveness of the woman they're with it helps, like okay, I'm okay now, or because if I'm not, it's part of their identity, which is
Right.
sad. Like
That yeah, that is sad and that's that's that type of thing makes in my estimation makes them somewhat entitled because sure, I'd like to go out with well, that's not true. I've gone out with some pretty gnarly guys actually
mm-hmm,
that were biker types, but they were
mm-hmm,
so much fun.
mm-hmm,
So, it was just when we started talking about music, they didn't appreciate my R&B, the R&B music that I listened to. They were like,
mm-hmm.
"No," you know.
I didn't know you were an R&B fan.
I didn't realize that until I was looking back and responding to music like CeeLo or
Mm-hmm,
Stevie Wonder, and
mm,
I've always used this thing as a publicist that if my artist isn't inspired by Stevie or if I don't hear a Stevie influence, even if they're metal or hard
mm-hmm,
rock, that there's something they missed a great influence.
mm,
You know, and Prince, a lot of
mm-hmm,
folks love I've had artists that have gone crazy. Let's go crazy over
mm-hmm,
Prince. So, uh as well as listening to Sarah Dash as a singer, LaBelle,
mm-hmm.
the women from LaBelle. I I think I like all kinds of music, but the biker guy that I was dating for a long time, um, and not going very far with, unfortunately.
Hmm.
I've got to interject that I've never been uh, what the world would consider as gorgeous. I've always been kind of chubby and wear jeans out on a date, less dresses, things like that.
Hmm.
A little bit of makeup, and yeah, I do belong to the red lipstick club. I just want to make that clear. Um,
It's important.
yes, I do think so. I think, yeah, I like all music styles. I like hip hop. I've had guys that hate hip hop, so and girls. I've dated both sexes, so here we are. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of the I think I think I don't know if it's this generation or the generations before us or our generations, but there's so many women that are and so many guys that it's less about their looks and more about their soul.
Mm.
I think if I can have a conversation with them,
Hmm.
and I think I I don't how would we want to teach these guys? I mean, what is the way to teach this generation of
That's a good question.
boys that I mean, and again, they're not hopeless. They're just feeling bad because they can't get things and neither can we. I mean, nobody gets everything they want. It's really hard. It, what is success?
I don't know. It's as someone who's very, 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 very single and kind of terrified that I'll never fall in love again, because I feel like that's such a nice thing to experience. I personally, I want to have a deep relationship with a person or not. Like I can't have a half-ass relationship that's based on looks or super money, for Christ's sake, definitely not money. Um,
Yeah.
so it's I don't know as society, what do you do? Like me personally, I just try to communicate that what I think and feel to people, and that's all that I can do. But societally it's at a weird point because men or women don't need men anymore because we're in the workforce. I think it's just
Yeah.
so how and becoming less receptive to, like I was saying, to men's bullshit, or like everybody's got their bullshit, so it's not like just,
Yeah.
but I don't really know. There's so many people who are single for long periods of time, and dating is seems to be like a big quagmire where
Yeah, and they don't want to be single.
yeah, I don't know. I find it very sad. I'm a romantic, so it's
I mean, should I send you the next guy that I turned down?
well, again, I have to know what his musical preferences are, because if they're bad, then no. So
It's good music.
if you um well, there's good music and then there's good music that, like, I went out with this one guy and he liked Bruce Springsteen, who I think is
Okay.
great, but I'm like I know we're not compatible because I don't think not that I would like write a guy off because of that, but I'm just like, that's too like all American and normal. I'm like I'm not normal. Like I like to listen to like electronic music or like alternative, like,
Radio.
Radiohead,
Yeah,
Cheap
yeah.
Trick. Cheap Trick
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not, that is definitely a different genre, but they're so freaking good.
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
listen to Nirvana a lot when I was a kid, like, so I like a lot of yelling in my music. Yelling into Modest Mouse. I was a huge Modest Mouse fan.
Would
Um,
Joan Jett do? She yells.
yes, I never really listened to her a lot, but she's like, again, talking about like being diplomatic. I don't think
Right.
she would be categorized as that. She would be like we would love her outspokenness. So again, not a flaw to say. What do you think?
So I've been watching TV.
Oh,
Uh, I make sure I watch TV every week, a couple of times a week at least,
mm-hmm,
sometimes more, sometimes daily. And I'm watching currently the first season of Wednesday,
mm-hmm.
which is a show about the Addams Family daughter
Oh,
having
okay.
she has some superpowers.
Mm-hmm,
She has insight into ESP, and if someone is going to get killed by
mm-hmm,
the raving lunatic monster called the
mm-hmm,
Hyde,
mm-hmm,
and she seems to be a superhero in this TV series.
mm-hmm.
And I like shows like that. What shows are you watching or movies or do you recommend?
Um, so probably my favorite show of all time is Arrested Development. Did you ever watch that?
No, I have to, don't
Oh,
I?
it's from, I don't know, 20 years ago, but it's so funny. I assume it's aged well. I haven't rewatched it, but I'm actually right now. This is also Jason, Jason Bateman. He was in Arrested Development, but I'm actually watching Ozark right now, which is not the typical thing I would watch, and I don't even know
Huh?
why I started it. It's very violent and like, but it's written so well. When you start watching it,
Right.
you're like, why am I watching this? But it's so good. Um, and I watched a show not that long ago called The End of the Fucking World, and it's about these two young people who kind of end up in each other's lives, and they're both extremely fucked up kids. Um, it actually starts where like the boy wants to murder the girl, and I'm
Oh,
like, what? I'm like, this is terrible. Why am I watching this? It is amazing. It's all about childhood trauma and like the effect that it has on people, and you watch these kids like start to heal, but through like all kinds of crazy shit that happens, and then the bonding that happens because of the childhood trauma, but then the bonding because of the healing, and it's freaking brilliant.
I
um
should watch that.
it's so good. It's so good. It's not new or anything. I'm trying to remember what the heck else. But there was something else I watched recently that was good. I can't remember stuff. Um, I can't remember. There was another one that was good. I can't remember it.
Okay, so that's cool. Well, they do. I mean, I remember there was a band I think called Arrested Development, but
Yes. I remember the other one. This one's on HBO, so I don't have it anymore, but it's called somebody some hang on. Somebody somewhere.
okay, I
Do
like
you
that
have
title.
HBO
I don't, but
Max? Oh.
I get Voodoo, VUDU. So
Mm.
I'll watch older TV shows that like Deadwood is now on
Mm-hmm.
Voodoo, or first three seasons of The Boys
Mm-hmm.
are on Voodoo. I'm a big Supernatural
Mm-hmm.
person.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, you
Um,
too? No.
so somebody somewhere is about like normal people, like because when you watch TV and like everybody's attractive and you're like, I hate it. There is nothing more boring than looking at attractive people, in my opinion. I want to see real people. And on this show, everybody is real, deeply flawed, but in a way you can identify with them. And like it's just a really they somebody on that show recently got an Emmy, and he did like this amazing speech and stuff. So I think you would like that show because it's very relatable.
Oh, and we'll get some of the guys that are having problems with finding dates on the show too.
No. Ugh.
Make them happy, make people happy. That's our, we want to find out what people are going through and
Mm.
find ways to make them happy. I was going to talk about physics with you
Oh.
today because I really I know that you're a working writer and that you do create writing and you've written at least one novel
Hmm.
that it's still looking for a publisher.
Oh, all my book writing days are long gone.
It's like my screenwriting days. I can relate.
Mm.
Although I do have a play that should be a movie
I was just gonna
about.
say, I wonder if you could like, sorry, I, I wonder if you could use like AI to like, not that I'm pro AI, but like maybe you could feed it your script and you could have character like see it, you know?
Yeah, you can. There is a way of doing that because they have AI making bands.
Mm.
And I'm also told like I could at some point make a radio drama for
Hmm.
some of these plays, or I could turn some of them into novels and just
Hmm.
post them on Amazon and sell them on every website people can download as a Kindle book.
Hmm.
So technically I could do that. I just have to focus on that.
Mm. Well, you
Um,
should.
yeah, I should. I will, you know. But yes, you can AI can if AI can make rock bands,
Hmm.
AI could cast a play or a movie.
Yeah.
And Hollywood has no right to get angry at people that do that, especially because they've turned them down for
Mm.
scripts.
Yeah.
I think. I think that. Yeah. Um, all right. So I was going to ask you a question about physics where you sent me to a web page that had a bunch of things telling the difference between Newtonian and quantum physics.
Yeah.
You're
As
laughing
one
your head.
does, you know.
Yeah, yeah, ho hum. But I'm finding out. Do you like physics or do you know anything about
I
it?
don't know anything about physics, but I'm obsessed with quantum everything. In my little pea brain way of digesting information. There's like this big push for like quantum technologies in Connecticut where I live. So I feel like it's going to change the world because I feel like we're very stuck in this Newtonian black and white, one or zero, right or wrong, good or bad mentality. And my whole life, I'm like, that's not it. Like, that is true, but there is way more to whatever the reason we're here than that. And if there isn't, then who cares? Like I just find this so boring. So quantum physics is more about infinite possibilities. And so with the computers, it's basically like our regular computing, it's all ones and zeros, right? Like the when it goes to do stuff, it's like this one or this one, this one or this one, like but quantum can kind of do it like many options at one time. And I think it's going to transform, healthcare and who knows what else. But I think it could also open up ideas with spirituality. That's all I'm interested in. Um, and I would love to see more people again, be more curious, think not just think, do I do it this way or this way? Just say like how like brainstorm things and not say, am I left or am I right? Or is
Right.
it good that this person died? Is it bad? Like that's not how life works. It's not how nature works. I would like us to think more about what else could be possible.
So when we market inside and outside the box.
Hmm.
Is that kind of where we're going?
Ah, who's we?
Ah. You and me, as opposed to the boys.
No, well, the boys, I don't know how much hope there is for the boys. Um,
Sorry,
uh,
guys.
well, that's like, I mean, in marketing, everybody's worried about AI, and I'm like, first off, marketing will never die. Marketing is this like beast that it's like a cockroach. Like it's never marketing will survive every industry,
Yeah,
I
you
feel like.
need some human input with it. You
Yeah, and
really
I'm
do.
like, we'll figure out something else. It's people didn't like automation in the industrial world and all this stuff. Like there's always, in my opinion, I'm an eternal optimist. There's always something else. Worst case scenario, we all die. I mean, that's also a given. So,
The first paragraph in the article that you sent me to talked about how tiny particles sometimes behave one way in a situation where it seems like they're particles, but they're really waves.
mm,
And I think that when you're talking about things that are being unlimited
mm,
or the potential, human potential,
mm-hmm,
it would make sense for the tiny particles to be in a flow state,
mm-hmm,
waves, flow state,
mm-hmm,
just kind of going with the energy without having to make excuses because flow is accepted. I mean, you're not going
mm-hmm,
to hurt anybody when you're in a true flow state, I
mm-hmm.
don't think, because your intentions are there.
Yeah. Well, and again, it also comes to the lack of good or bad thing too. It's not going to hurt anybody. What is hurting? Like we are constantly making these assessments and judgments. You
Right.
know, is this good? Is this bad? But the other part with that whole particle thing is, and again, I wish I was smarter to explain this better, but one of these experiments, I think it's a particle. I think whether it looks like a particle or a wave, part of this whole thing is the way a thing appears is dependent on whether you're looking at it or not, which I'm still thinking about how that could be applicable to life, but I don't know if that's part of like why humans have this incredible desire to be seen. Maybe being seen makes us into a different preferred state, as opposed to if we're not seen, then we're insignificant or what, like is there something there where we, I don't know, are made of different stuff or appear differently? I don't know. I just think that's the other thing that pisses me off about atheists. Atheists are all about science, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're like, this is true because science says so. But there's so much undiscovered shit. Like it keeps changing. And it's like, I get it and I respect what you're doing, but you can't tell me if there's stuff in, because physics is crazy. Like it's all solved with math equations and it doesn't make any sense to me. But there are people who know what they're talking about who say, this is a possibility. We just have to prove it with math. So, what if there's a possibility of God? What if math proves that God is real? Are then you going to be like, okay, I'm not an atheist anymore? You know?
Well, math, for some people and some people's interpretation,
Mm-hmm.
um, I forgot what it's called, but it's those drips from the sun. There was a rock, uh, a talking, uh, a spoken word artist named Copernicus that talked about the little drips, and I'm blank on the name, but it was a favorite term
Mm-hmm.
of energy from the sun, like the sun rays, and that was part of the case that could be made for God, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also, and there's an internal thing, and also when you use the Gandhi quote in your notes, and you mention it being the change you want to
Mm.
see briefly in this conversation. And who are you being true to.
Mm.
I would like to see this guy be a better person, and I would like to see all those people become better, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to work on me. I want to
Mm.
be, I'm going to work on my interpersonal skills. I'm not diplomatic enough, so I'm going to learn diplomacy. I'm going to learn how to critique instead of criticize.
I
I'm
see, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as what are my fears? What am I afraid of?
okay.
It's not that I need to be more diplomatic. It's the fact that I sometimes use directness to avoid being vulnerable. Like it's like,
Ah,
how can
well, they
I
do. Yeah,
um but yeah, I think we all know what we're avoiding most of the time, and everything is there's no like end result. It's going to be continue. I think it's
yeah.
continual growth. I unfortunately think that there is life beyond this plane, and that we'll have more work to do.
No, but could God also be inside you? Like, because some
Sure.
of the
Yeah.
religious Christ in you, or, whatever, your inner Buddha or something like that. Or,
I think all of us are connected. We're all part of this. I've read so many near-death experiences, and basically, and there's this TED talk that I always talk about. It's called
mm,
um, uh, a stroke of insight, I think it's called, where this brain surgeon or something, she did something with the brain. She had a stroke, and like her left side of her brain completely went dead. And so it was just the right side. And she realized how interconnected we all are. And that's what we are. Like it's this, um, uh, what's the word? Um, Delusion of separation that makes us
fascinating.
try to um, hold on to our identity and ourself when we're actually all interconnected into one big thing. And I think part of life is understanding how to get back to that whole in some way. And
Right.
that's what drives me nuts about the political climate right now is like
Uh,
everybody's fighting and hating each other. And it's like we're in a very difficult place together, and we're all life is very hard, and I understand that everybody is just trying to survive, but I think that at the core of everything we're all very much connected and
we are.
similar to each other.
Yeah. I think our job for the next year, one of the big jobs, is to educate all our elected officials and tell them what we need. And they may not
Mm,
listen. I'm in the Bronx. We have predominantly representation through mainly Democrats,
mm-hmm,
and I got to teach them to listen just as much
mm-hmm,
as
mm.
you're in a mixed state, I believe, where you're at. You have
It's mostly blue.
okay,
It is mixed, but it's for the yeah, I'd say like we always I don't know the last year we voted for a Republican president. Like that the president's always going to go to a Democrat.
gotcha. Well, they have to learn too. We have
Yeah,
to
I
teach them
agree.
all. So it's hard. I think anything you want to add, because I think we're going to have to plan another speech in 2026, another speech, another interview next year.
Sure, anytime. I don't know. I think I've said enough things that probably don't make sense. But it
To
was
me, they do.
that's good. You seem in a very good mood today, which is makes me happy. So,
I feel good. And like I say, lately, I mean, I've been dealing my whole publicity career with overwhelm, and over the past few months, I think because the clients have been easier and more humane. And I
that
think
makes a huge
also,
difference.
yeah, because I've looked at my workload as, oh, I'm getting work done. I'm
Hmm.
accepting that I'm getting work done. I'm checking off stuff on the to-do list, and I might not get everything done, but I'm making time for my creative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's making a difference. It's making me feel less overwhelmed, like I can get to my needs as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's something to be said of getting to a point in your career where you say, I'm not doing this shit anymore. Like you have had a very varied and extensive career.
Right.
We don't have to put up with bullshit. We can say, have boundaries and say,
Right.
I've worked too hard to tolerate this or whatever,
Right.
and
Yeah, I mean, but that's not to say if I'm in a situation where not all the stuff is there, not all my tools are there, or the host isn't the one with the most this, I can
mm-hmm,
bring it.
mm-hmm,
I don't have to say, "Oh, well, you did a stupid thing, blah blah blah."
mm-hmm.
I can help them along. I
Yeah,
can
sure.
give them what they need.
Yeah, more in terms of like I was thinking more in terms of like you're saying you're getting better clients that are nicer. Like it's more
Yeah,
like
decent human beings.
yeah, like that just work with those people and not abusive people.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need that. Never did. So,
Hmm. But I do feel like we have to kind of pay our dues early on.
yeah, I think to learn the
Yeah.
difference between
And
cruelty and kindness.
hmm yeah.
So,
But it's good to learn how to deal with stuff.
yeah, yeah, hence my lessons and critiquing versus criticizing
Mm,
diplomacy. And
hmm.
well, we've gone full circle. Lisa Wright, I want to thank you. And where can we find Reify Creative on the web?
Yeah, just go to Reify Creative, Reify creative.com.
Thank you so much, and long may you be unlimited.
I like that sentence very much.
Thanks.
It was nice to see you.
You too.